I'm not going to pretend this isn't exciting. Rosie Perez has joined us here on TCM, and it is really great to be here with you.
Oh, thank you. I'm equally excited. I love your show. I love you. Say hello to Eddie Mueller for me. And
I will not.
Okay. So, yeah, but I'm very, very excited.
We're at the United Palace Theater in Washington Heights. This is not your first time here.
No, I've been here once before. There was a fundraiser here, and I couldn't believe this place existed. You feel the nostalgia from floor to ceiling. It is just gorgeous.
Yeah. Rosie picked a double feature for us. These are both boxing films. Killer's Kiss, Stanley Kubrick's second movie. It's boxing adjacent. The other, The Harder They Fall, which we'll have in a couple hours, is a genuine boxing film. I would have been surprised that you picked two films connected to boxing, but there I was with millions of other people a few months back, getting ready to watch Jake Paul fight Mike Tyson. And I'm like, that's Rosie Perez. Why is Rosie Perez a commentator in boxing? And then I listened to you and I'm like, oh, because she knows a lot about boxing. Where did that start? Where did that come from?
Well, it came from because I'm Puerto Rican. You know, it's just part of the culture. You know, we love baseball and we love boxing. So I've been a fan for a long, long time. And, you know, being in the acting world afforded me great access and wonderful seats. You know, I started in the nosebleed and worked my way all the way down to the floor. And, you know, and in the boxing world, if you look at the audience in the floor, you'll see the usual suspects at each and every fight. Yeah. And so I started to really make friends.
You became a usual suspect.
I became a usual suspect, yes. And also because they respected me because I didn't just go to the main events. I didn't go to the big title fights. I also went to Broadway boxing. I went to boxing at B.B. King's, the Ford Amphitheater in Coney Island. And so promoters started saying, hey, why don't you come here? I'll give you free tickets. I said, I'm there. And so that's how I became part of the boxing world.
Yeah, when I covered sports, there was nothing like going to those Friday night fights. And a bill of guys you didn't really know. Sometimes at the end, there'd be some relatively famous local D.C. fighter, Simon Brown.
Look at you, Ben Mankiewicz.
And I loved it. And that was my first introduction to the beauty of boxing. And part of the beauty is its grit. And we're getting its grit in both of these films.
Yes.
So the first one you picked is Stanley Kubrick's second movie, Killer's Kiss, from 1955. What is your attraction to Killer's Kiss?
My attraction to Killer's Kiss is that it's not your ordinary boxing film.
Right.
And I really, really was fascinated by the fact that Stanley Kubrick barely had any money. Yeah. He didn't have any permits, and he pulled off such a feat. You'll see in this film some of the locations. It's so authentic to New York City. And then he goes into the boroughs, and I went, oh my God, that's Vinica Hill. There's a scene where the lead is on top of the rooftops and he's jumping, running from the mob, and you're just like, this is really beautiful and brilliant. And I really loved how he used lighting because that's the noir part of it that I'm fascinated by. On a shoestring budget, and it's just amazing. And one of my film fanatic friends told me that he used this specific camera, it's called the IMO, and that someone actually stole it in between scenes while they were shooting. And so he had to improvise. And you'll see, if you're a real film buff, little mistakes here and there, but the film is just so over the top and fascinating, you'll love it.
Yeah, totally. So the lead is Jamie Smith. He's so believable as a boxer that I presumed he was a boxer, but I think not. Just an athletic guy who learned how to act like a fighter. He is a guy whose best days are behind him, and he lives across the courtyard from this woman, Irene Kane, and they glance at each other, but they don't even really know each other. But then their stories merge to make this propulsive. There is not a moment where this isn't moving forward with electricity.
That's right. And the best fight scene is not in the ring in this movie as well.
Oh, no, the best fight scene is a real fight.
Yes, it's a real fight. Yeah. You see the exhaustion on the two actors, and you're like, wow, they really went at it.
Yeah, there's a general school of thought, if the cinephiles are talking about Kubrick, that really the first Stanley Kubrick film is his third film, the movie he made after this, The Killing, with Sterling Hayden. But I'm telling you, this is a Stanley Kubrick film. And it may be a little bit flawed, and he's still figuring it out, but man, he made something special here.
He really did. And this should give every new filmmaker the encouragement to do what you want to do, and don't worry about if you have enough money or not. You can make it work.
All right, those are excellent words to end with. Rosie and I will be back to talk more after the film. Here it is, Stanley Kubrick's second film. It's from 1955, Killer's Kiss. I'm back with Rosie Perez, who's programmed tonight's double feature. And you started off with a bang. Killer's Kiss, Stanley Kubrick's second film. Man, I love it. I love it. I was so taken with it, so moved by this. And even the end, which Kubrick didn't want, United Artists made him have a happy ending.
I did not know that.
But doesn't it make sense? Because you don't think she's coming.
That's right.
You definitely don't
You don't think she's coming. And he did that smartly, even though I didn't know that he had to change the ending like that.
That's right. He still did it in a way that he didn't make too much of it. He didn't have her show up like with her bags
With
all
her bag
packed
or
and
anything.
everything.
It's like, I'm going to meet this guy no matter what. I don't care what happens to me. We'll buy clothes when we get there.
She probably came from the police station. I got to get him before he gets on that train to Seattle.
Yeah.
I don't know. I buy it. And I buy also that he didn't want that wasn't his idea of how this should end. By the way, United Artists liked this movie enough that Kubrick had raised $75,000. Hard to raise the money. He'd raised money for his first film, Fear and Desire, which did not make money, so he had trouble raising the money for this one, but he got enough to make it. Then United Artists gave him $100 grand, and it was enough because they liked it enough to say, okay, we'll give you this and we'll release it, and we'll give you $100 grand to make your next movie. And that's where he made The Killing, which is a more complete film than what we just saw. But this one is every bit, to me, as riveting as The Killing is, and I love The Killing.
Yeah, and what you said earlier about it being gritty, from start to finish, it's so unapologetically gritty that I just loved it, and it just really captured the essence of New York during that time. And when you see Times Square and all the lights, and sometimes you see the people passing by, and you know they're not background actors because they're like, what's that? Is that a camera there? And one of my favorite scenes was the fight scene in the warehouse.
Yeah, with Frank Silvera and Jamie Smith together, and that is as good a fight scene as it gets. Nothing seemed choreographed.
No.
I find that in fight scenes that are too choreographed, you lose the emotional heft of it because you don't feel like there's any danger as soon as it feels staged. And also chase scenes, where I lose my place a lot in chase scenes in movies. I'm like, wait, so that guy was just behind him and now he's this far behind him. Here, this chase, totally credible. I felt every single moment of that.
I even questioned when one of the goons trips and falls on top of the roof, and he says, oh, my foot. I was wondering, that probably really happened.
I probably did, and it came right after Frank Silvera had fallen as he leapt over something, and clearly he fell. They're like, keep going, people fall down. So it was an effective way to get that goon out of it so that this could come down to our hero and our villain.
And the female lead, we have to give her a lot of credit. Man, she was just really great.
Irene Kane, and she is really good.
Also, the ballet dancer scene
totally.
Comes out of left field.
Yeah, totally.
And it still works.
Still works, and the whole time, it's just while she's telling the story. I didn't think there was a false moment in the movie. If there was anything at all that I didn't buy in the movie, is that in an effort to get Jamie Smith, our hero Davy, out of the way to set up the accidental murder of his manager, that those two like Shriners stole his scarf.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, but that scene with them distracting him, I loved.
Great.
Yeah.
But talk about that scene where his manager gets murdered in the alley. That was so real to me. Usually you're like, help, help, and they find a way to get out of it, and there is no way out.
Nope.
There is no way out. And the quiet panic that you feel, and you don't even see his face much. And it's just brilliantly done.
Yeah, totally. Rosie, great stuff. Thanks very much. Great pick. If this was boxing adjacent, our next one is a full-on boxing picture. And for my money, and there are a lot of great boxing movies, for my money, this is the best one. From 1956, this is Humphrey Bogart's last picture. The Harder They Fall is next on TCM.
Next on TCM, The Harder They Fall. Then Cash on Demand, and later, The Young Runaways. Go on the lam with TCM tonight.